The year was 2001. Microsoft decided to slam onto the game console scene with the Xbox.
November the 8th, in the North American market, you'll be able to go into retail stores and you'll be able to get a box just like this with Xbox in it. This is going to be a momentous event for the industry and for Microsoft, and we're very excited about that.
Using knowledge they'd gained from meeting with Sega for console development, this new console touted superior power, a massively oversized controller, and games like Shrek, Dead or Alive 3, also commonly referred to as Jiggle Physics the game, and Crimson Skies. But there was also at the forefront of this launch lineup what would become one of Microsoft's most important exclusives, and an important franchise to gaming in general. And you all know exactly what I'm talking about? Yes. NFL Fever 2002, baby, yeah! But other than that masterpiece, there was another game that was hidden behind all these great unforgettable games in the Xbox launch lineup. A little indie title by a little studio. You might have heard of it. It's pretty hard to come by nowadays.
Oh, Halo. Hey, how could I forget? Hey, Jason, you're right there. You're ready. Of course, they got to see Halo, and you guys are all set. Why don't we bring up Jason Jones? We got Joe Satin up here, and they're going to give us a little glimpse of their little game, Halo.
Halo is quite the remarkable game. Gaming World X can be quoted in their review by saying it may be the best FPS ever created. That might be a bit of hyperbole, but it is safe to say that Halo is one of the single most influential games and one of the best first-person shooters in recent memory. In this series, Halo vs. the World will be going over the production and the product of every mainline entry in the Halo franchise. We'll be determining if it holds up today, and we'll learn a bit of history along the way. Let's get started. While the 15-person team over at Bungie were working on their new game Myth 2, they decided to work on a little side project, an RTS set in a sci-fi world, utilizing a realistic physics engine and 3D terrain. The little pet project of theirs was titled Monkey Nuts, and then later Blam, because of a project lead's embarrassment at the name Monkey Nuts. Yeah, so Halo was once an RTS titled Monkey Nuts. I bet you also didn't know that it was originally slated for the Mac. After adding sort of a unit cam feature to the game, they decided it would be more fun to be able to run around as one of the units. So this little RTS project titled Blam quickly became a third-person shooter titled Blam, set on a distant ring world in space. Bungie gained audience with Steve Jobs himself. Yeah, that's Steve Jobs. The game was soon set to be presented at Macworld 1999. Pretty quickly, they had to come up with a final name for the project. Some names suggested were the Crystal Palace, Hard Vacuum, Star Maker, Star Shield, the Santa Machine, and Covenant. Halo, as a title, was finally decided upon due to invoking a sense of mystery and hinting at some ancient secret in the game's world. Another fun fact about all these last-minute decisions regarding Macworld, Bungie had decided to contact Martin O'Donnell for the soundtrack for the game. He had previously worked with Bungie on the Myth series and had a pretty good relationship with them. Martin O'Donnell had one day to compose and record the soundtrack for the presentation. So when he did finish the legendary song we all know as the Halo theme, he sent it to the team just hours before the presentation.
We are starting to see some great games come back to the Mac, but this is one of the coolest I've ever seen. This game is going to ship early next year from Bungie, and this is the first time anybody has ever seen it. It's the first time they've debuted it. And so I'm very happy to welcome on the stage Jason Jones, who is the co-founder of Bungie and the Halo project lead. Halo is the name of this game, and we're going to see, for the first time, Halo. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Steve. Yep. Everything you're about to see is being rendered in real time on a Macintosh using OpenGL.
Soon Microsoft were attracted to this Halo project and wanted it for their new big risk, the Xbox. They struck a deal. Bungie leaves Myth and Oni, their two biggest projects at the time, to Take-Two Interactive. And Microsoft acquires the financially struggling Bungie game studio, and Halo is made as an exclusive launch title for the Xbox. After this acquisition, Bungie now had little more than a year to finish this game. The pressure was on to turn Halo into something shippable by November. They now had to optimize it for the Xbox, and suddenly a decision was made to turn it into an FPS. This wouldn't be a problem if it was still a PC game, but it in fact was controlled by a controller. And before Halo, FPS games controlled with a controller were quite rare and unconventional. In order to combat a lot of the inaccuracies that come with using a traditional gamepad, they created a light aim assist with the game that would shoot at what the player is trying to shoot at as opposed to what they're actually pointing at. Also, in order to make the game shippable by November, they had to abandon a lot of the high-tech ideas, like an open world and destructible terrain. So they playtested this more open-ended maze-like level. The only problem was, while playtesters were enjoying this level, they realized that there was a problem with the playtesters getting lost in the levels. So in order to keep players from getting lost within these levels, they added a lot of things within the environment itself in order to keep people on the right track, like the flares in the level Halo, and the glowing arrows within Forerunner buildings. While these glowing arrows became a staple of the game as a whole, this level eventually became the Silent Cartographer, the game's fourth mission. Just weeks before the deadline, they decided to scrap the entire multiplayer and change it because the developers at Bungie thought it wasn't fun enough. Because of this, they had trouble getting the online multiplayer to work with the new multiplayer, so they had to scrap online multiplayer entirely so that the game could ship on time.
Citizens of the world, we are in deep doo-doo. Aliens. There's a lot of them, and they're meanies. As peace-loving humans, we must take up arms. And by arms, I mean guns. United, we will form a giant can opener. And we will open a giant can of whoop-ass.
Halo Combat Evolved.
Halo launched alongside the Xbox, and became one of its most successful exclusives, selling about 4.2 million copies with just the Xbox version alone. Halo Combat Evolved was also an extreme critical success. It was named Game of the Year, and along with that, it still holds one of the highest scores on Metacritic for video games in general. Ports were later made for the PC and Mac. Ironically enough, the PC port is considered inferior to the Xbox port. Even more ironically, the Mac port of the game, which was supposed to be the original release of the game, is actually the worst version of Halo Combat Evolved available. In the matter of just a few years, Bungie's little experimental project had quickly turned into their most successful property. By 2006, Halo Combat Evolved had sold a total of nearly 6 million units worldwide. You are the last of your kind, bred for combat, built for war. You are the master of any weapon, pilot of any vehicle, and you fear no enemy. Bent on humankind's extermination, a powerful fellowship of alien races known as the Covenant is wiping out Earth's fledgling interstellar empire. You and the other surviving defenders of a devastated colony world make a desperate attempt to lure the alien fleet away from Earth. Shot down and marooned on an ancient ring world Halo, you begin a guerrilla war against the Covenant. Fight for humanity against an alien onslaught as you race to uncover the mysteries of Halo. In Halo Combat Evolved, you assume the role of the Master Chief, an advanced super soldier with an entire alien alliance as his foes. While yes, you are a genetically enhanced super soldier that can do anything, you're still woefully capable of dying. This game has a perfect difficulty balance. While at times it can be hard, it still gives you those satisfying super soldier moments that just feel great to pull off. The game has 4 difficulties. Easy mode, which is very easy. Most play this to speedrun the game or get the story in a timely manner. Normal, it's also quite easy, and honestly, I don't know if anyone actually plays this mode. Just, Heroic, which is my difficulty of choice. And Legendary, just the most difficult and, at times, unfair. Halo Combat Evolved single player is also extremely open-ended, and doesn't really hold your hand through the whole thing. It truly has echoes of older style games while having the technology of more modern games. Its weapon sandbox is incredibly versatile and makes the game fun on repeated playthroughs. Maybe this time I'll play the mission using just a plasma pistol, or without shooting anyone, or just grenades, or maybe only through melee attacks. The different categories and types of weapons you come across in the game makes it feel like you're learning a new skill each time you decide to drop one of your 2 preferred weapons and try something new. This weapon sandbox is an essential part of the core gameplay of the game that makes it so fun, and it's part of what made the game so influential in the first place. The enemy AI for the day was really good. A lot better than the previous player enters room, shoot player. One example is when weaker enemies start to scatter when they sense danger. There's also so many satisfying ways to take on encounters in the game as well. Maybe you'll pump an entire needler clip into an elite and see them explode in spectacular fashion. Or maybe sneaky grenade stuff is more your thing. The choice is all yours. Except, you can't arrest them, like in the Macworld trailer, sadly. I kind of tried and it didn't quite work out for me.
Sir, you are under arrest. Sir, you are resisting arrest. I will have to use lethal force if you continue to resist arrest. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop. Sir, please do not hit me. You are under arrest.
Keep your head
Please
down.
stop.
There's 2 of us in here now, remember?
Sir, you are being aggressive. Stop.
Again, you're fleeing the Covenant, luring them away from Earth after a failure to hold down a colony planet known as Reach.
We made a blind jump. How did they...
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed my maneuvering options were limited.
When the ship is boarded, you, the Master Chief, are given an AI named Cortana to work with while you escape to the mysterious ring world below.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
When you land, your entire escape pod group dies, except you, leaving you alone to explore this mysterious place and gather any survivors and attempt to escape the planet. When finally, on a rescue mission for Captain Keyes, you find out that the Covenant see this ring world as some sort of holy weapon.
They call it Halo.
Wow, nice title drop. The plan is made to find the control room in order to be able to use Halo against the Covenant. When you finally do fight your way into the main control room of Halo, you're met with some bad news.
Wait. No, that can't be. Oh, those Covenant fools. They must have known. There must have been signs.
Slow down. You're losing me.
The Covenant found something. Buried in this ring. Something horrible. And now They're afraid.
Something buried? Where?
The captain. We've got to stop the captain.
Keys?
The weapons cache he's looking for. It's not really... We can't let him get inside.
I don't understand.
There's no time. Get out of here, find keys, stop him. Before it's too late!
When you make it to the supposed weapons cache, what you find is quite concerning. Only grunts and jackals are left behind. You see bullets firing out from inside the building, but when you walk into the building you find no one. You go down the elevator. You start seeing Covenant dead where they're not supposed to be. You find unused ammo just lying on the floor. And you even find one of your own soldiers, so frightened and so scared that he even begins attacking you, the Master Chief. As you advance through the corridors, you eventually find the helmet of Private Jenkins. Poor, poor Private Jenkins. You decide to take a look at his video log. What you see is a new type of enemy that even the Covenant fear.
Why do we always have to listen to this old stuff, Sarge?
Watch your mouth, son. This stuff is your history. It should remind you grunts what we're fighting to protect.
Hey, if the Covenant want to wipe out this particular part of my history, that's fine by me.
Yeah, better it than us. You ask them real nice next time you see him, Vicente. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige.
LZ looks clear. I'm bringing us down.
Go, go, go!
Which is weird, right? I mean, look at it. Something scrambled the insides.
What's that? Plasma scoring?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was an accident, you know, friendly fire or something?
What do we have, Sergeant? Looks like a Covenant patrol. Badass elite units. All KIA.
Real pretty. Friend of yours?
Nah, we just met. I got a bad feeling about this.
Boy, you always got a bad feeling about something.
Sarge, can you hear me?
What's going on, soldier?
We've got contact, lots of them, but they're not Covenant. They're just tearing through us. What the? Oh, no!
Corporal, do you copy? Over. Mendoza, get your ass back up to second squad's position and find out what the hell is going on.
But
I don't have time for your lip, soldier. I gave you an order.
Sarge, listen.
What is that?
Where's that coming from,
Everywhere.
Mendoza?
I don't... There! Mira!
Hold still! Hold still! Let him have it!
Sergeant, we're surrounded.
God damn it, Jenkins! Fire your weapon!
There are too many, Sarge!
Don't even think about it, Marine.
Oh, this is loco!
Get back here, Marine! That's an...
Jenkins!
You get out of the building, only for this heap of trash to kidnap you.
Someone has released the flood. My function is to prevent it from leaving this installation, but I require your assistance. Come, this way.
Chief, I've lost your signal. Where'd you go? Chief! Chief!
Oh. got this. I got this guy. Just rush through it. Okay. Whatever. 343 Guilty Spark is this little trash ball's name, and he tells you of the threat of the species known as the Flood, and that the only way to defeat it is by activating the Halo Ring. You soon find out that the Halo is designed to destroy the Flood by starving it of food. That means activating Halo would wipe out all sentient life in the universe. You decide to turn against 343 Guilty Spark, and his trash sentinels turn against you. You and Cortana quickly devise a plan to demolish the space ring and escape in one piece. You succeed at this plan, and you escape in spectacular fashion.
Fancy a look?
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left. We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo. It's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
There are some issues with the Halo campaign, like how after the library they start recycling levels, and you're playing them backwards, but now they're way harder because you have to fight the Flood as well. But at the same time, I actually ended up enjoying these backward levels because you had to play them differently because of how the Flood acted in the game as opposed to the Covenant. Can I also mention that the surprise appearance of the Flood is one of the best reveals in any game I have ever played. I mean, imagine, you're playing this game non-stop, enjoying the high-octane action of fighting with aliens, and then suddenly, you're going into what you think is the final assault on the control room.
Wow, nice title drop.
And you think the resolution is finally coming up. But wait, Cortana starts flipping out, and before you can ask how she's doing, only for her to say I'm fine and stop talking to you for a month and a half, she starts screaming about Captain Keyes being in grave danger. So being the good boyfriend you are, you do what she says, and get attacked by space zombies and kidnapped by spherical trash. The game suddenly turns into a horror game, and man, it's pretty great. Anyways, the campaign isn't all that Halo is known for.
What?
Dorito, I'm going to save you.
Dorito! Oh, there they are. Get them!
No, skinny penis! Help me!
Oh, what the hell? My goodness, I love the multiplayer. While playing the game for this video, I could not stop playing the game on Master Chief Collection on Xbox Live, and playing it online through Custom Edition. I even got hooked on a second playthrough of the campaign. The combat loop is so addictive, and the multiplayer is just so fun and satisfying. The game's vehicles are fun in the campaign, but get some friends together on Blood Gulch and just knock yourself out with magical moments like this.
I'm gonna get you.
Okay.
Uh-oh, stinky.
You are nitpicking and biased. I win. Bye-bye!
Plus, the game's simple core gameplay allows for such a competitive and fun multiplayer experience for just about anyone playing. I mean, I suck at this game and I still love it. It's so simple that anyone can learn it, and anyone can get better at the game just by practicing and devising techniques and plans for different battle situations. The multiplayer in Combat Evolved is so fast-paced, it requires you to pay attention, allowing for a tense experience throughout. To put this into simpler terms, Halo Combat Evolved's multiplayer is just fun. Okay. Recharge, yes! It's not a perfect game by any stretch, but the game is just so fun, it's incredibly hard to notice the issues with it. Guys, I even like the library. Yes, everyone's #1 on their worst Halo missions list. I even like that. At the same time, I recognize it feels like you got thrown into a survival horror game while you signed up for an action game, so it makes sense why people hate it. That's the big problem, is what feels like gameplay style consistency. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this game because each level's style is so drastically different from each other. But at the same time, you get kind of a whiplash from doing some high-octane beach storming immediately after a tense stealth level. Also, the game could be balanced better. I mean, when I say I only used like 4 guns the whole game, I mean I only used 4 guns the whole game. The Needler, the Magnum, the Sniper, and the Shotgun. And even in multiplayer, I almost exclusively use the pistol in multiplayer.
The rest of the weapons are just lackluster in comparison. But anyways, overall this game is pretty great. I wouldn't even call it a flawed masterpiece. I think it's straight up an absolute masterpiece, and it's even more incredible that it was rushed in development the way it was. Just simply a great game. I'm gonna have to give this a hella recommend. Good job, Bungie. You did it. You made a good game. What did Halo Combat Evolved inspire? The obvious is apparent: Red vs. Blue, the series of short comedic videos made in Halo's multiplayer, and one of the longest running web series ever. What about the ports of the game? I mean, Halo Anniversary Edition has given Halo Combat Evolved new life. And let's talk real quick about Halo Custom Edition. You probably saw footage earlier that looked like Halo Reach. Well, before you go in the comments and expose me as the hack fraud that I am, I must explain. This is actually from a modded server for Halo Custom Edition. Halo Custom Edition has a modding community that was strong when it released, and it's still strong today. For real, Halo on PC is my favorite game to find new mods for and play them with friends. Modded campaigns, modded maps, different modes, freaking firefight. Mods give any old game new life. But the fact that people continue to mod Halo says a lot about its ever-continuing legacy. Halo Combat Evolved is also the start of one of the biggest video gaming franchises in recent memory. On top of this, it and its sequels have influenced so many other games. Imagine the gaming industry without Halo. Multiplayer would work differently, first-person shooters would work differently, stories and games would likely be different. Halo Combat Evolved is just a first-person shooter game from 2001, but it plays an important role in gaming culture as a whole, and in the video game industry. This little experimental project, was released and not only became a great game, an important one as well. With this, I invite you to find a copy. Play on any version you want and play Capture the Flag with some friends. Play the campaign and enjoy the story that started it all.